long story, and it may look like I don't know what I'm doing, but I do. Maybe not.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to episode 61 of Happy Hour from the Tower. It's the COVID-19 edition where we're coming in this way with no drop-ins, a little bit of music in the background, and the fire team on Discord. I'm your host, T. Morris, and sitting over to my top left.
I'm Nick Kelly.
And sitting over to my top right.
I'm Brandon Kelly.
We got this down to a system, guys. That was smooth. That was smooth. What do you say, guys?
You're using the wrong theme on Streamlabs.
Yeah, oh, shit. Here, I thought it was absolutely perfect tonight. And
there's the face cam on me.
I know, there's the face cam on you. But you know what? That's okay. I can fix that. Pro Strimmer, everybody. Pro Strimmer. Let's get that webcam out of there. Perfect. Perfect. Hey, it's the COVID-19 edition, which means I'm allowed to make mistakes since we're kind of making this up as we go. So, guys, it is good to see you all. It's good to see you all not only on Discord, but to see you both safe and healthy. How's your week been? Let's start with you, Nick. How's been your week on Destiny?
On Destiny, it's been fun. It's been fun too. I had a night with you and Steve.
Yep.
With Brandon on commentary, playing the Statler / Waldorf role of just launching in sarcasm here and there, and then I've done a bunch of in-game stuff. But I haven't played a ton. But when I have been playing, it's been a lot of fun.
Good. How about you, Brandon? Are you? Are you still playing Destiny, or are you branching off? And what are you playing right now?
It's been Warframe and Apex Legends, because Apex just had their recent Season 5 launch, and Warframe has just been the same grind as always. So.
It's nice to see that. It's nice to see that some people are still playing Warframe. I didn't realize. For some reason, I was under the impression that Warframe was not necessarily on the outs, but people weren't playing it as intently as some others had been. But it's nice. It's still raging.
Still really popular. Yeah.
Still raging. Good to hear. Good to hear. As for myself, I clocked in a lot of time with Destiny this week, of course. But Brandon, brace yourself. I've broken in a new game. And I'm getting a little more practice in. I'm getting some more practice tonight. And I'm going to be ready tomorrow. But I got myself a copy of Predator Hunting Grounds.
Yeah.
You don't want to watch my first night on there. It was a lot of waiting, and I finally got into the game. Yeah, the Predator made mincemeat of me. But man, how much fun it is. It is just the tutorial. I could play the tutorial over and over and over again and just be like, ooh, let me try this.
Yeah, it's made by the same people that did Friday the 13th, the game, and I love them, and I really wish that game didn't get shut down.
Well, let me which one? Friday the 13th?
Yeah.
Well, look on the bright side. Predator Hunting Grounds, they just got a major kick in the pants this week because last week, because they just announced their first DLC, and they had kept it really under wraps. But not only can you pick up as your DLC the ability to play Dutch, but the free DLC for anyone who has Predator Hunting Grounds, you get a series of cassettes, and they got Schwarzenegger in studio to reprise his role as Dutch, and apparently it was hard to say who was more excited about it, Schwarzenegger or the game developers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the devs are just happy to have the copyright holders on their side this time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Jeez.
And but no, what I really like about Hunting Grounds is how true they're staying to the film.
Please.
And whoa, what was that?
With me.
Oh, that
I'm
was
trying to reset. Yeah.
okay. So as you can see, chat, I'm not the only one that's kind of making it up as it goes right now here in our COVID-19 current state of play. But I'm still getting in some time with Destiny, and I'm still getting in some time with Steve, the Blind Gamer Sailor, which is my smooth segue into what is going to be happening this week. At the time of this recording, we have 5 days to go, but at the time this recording drops, it will be in 2 days. In 2 days, on Thursday, May 21st, Steve and I will be powered by Logitech G. Steve is going to be on the official Is this the first time you're hearing it, Brandon?
Yeah.
Get ready for this. Steve was invited by Logitech G to stream off of their channel to celebrate Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and it happened to fall on the day of Blind Leads the Blind. So we're going to be doing Blind Leads the Blind live from Logitech G. I got a crap ton of new stuff from them. I'm holding right here in my hands. I'm holding right here the G903, and it is powered by their new mouse pad that basically charges the mouse as it sits on it. I love Logitech right now. I love Logitech. Oh, and I should probably point this out too. They also gave me a 915 keyboard, and let me tell you something. This baby is sick. I love this thing, and we are.
See, you thought I was jealous when we saw the monitor.
Guess what? When you get here, you'll see the third monitor. It is It is mounted. I just have to. I'm telling you, Panic. I'm telling you. And Logitech were the ones when we sat down. Steve and I, when we sat down with Logitech to talk, they said, "What do you want?" And so we sent them stuff, and we're still waiting for more gear from them. But they were like, "We really appreciate this. We really appreciate this." And I'm like, "We can tell." I mean, they were extremely good to us. So on May 21st, we'll be powered by Logitech G, and we will be celebrating Global Accessibility Awareness Day. That will be I'm gonna put the hashtag in chat, but it's hashtag GAD. You can also use hashtag GAD 2020. All month they have been highlighting different folks with different accessibility issues, and they've been celebrating all month with different streamers of different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different disabilities. They've been celebrating over at Logitech G and hosting them all through the month as part of their content creator spotlight. And the way I've been spinning it to people is, so what happened was, yes, they reached out to Logitech reached out to Steve, but in all fairness, Logitech said, "We heard that you play with somebody that's blind, Steve," and he's like, "Yeah, his name is T. Morris." So I'm basically representing, the blind community while Steve is there to help me through Destiny. So that's how it works. Of course. But anyway, yeah, you can find out more about that at Global Accessibility Awareness Day.org, I believe it is. But I'll be putting links in the show notes and everything. Please join us on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time, where Steve will be on Logitech G, I will be here, and we will be doing the multi. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Thank you, Drafty. Thank you very much. All right, so guys, we are here to talk about stuff, aren't we? Now, Nick, this was your brainchild, so why don't you go on ahead and, well, I think we should first, since Nick is here and he's wearing the emblem, we should probably say congratulations to the Crayon Eaters, because they showed us all up. And man, did they bring it to the Guardian Games. So
they did something, all right.
They did. I mean, the ones with serious salt in their brew are probably going to be saying that they somehow cheated, and I didn't realize that actually playing in the Guardian Games and coming to play was considered cheating. But Nick, as a Titan, as a native Titan, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on bringing home the gold?
I thought Titan Games was really fun. It was it was just more of the Titans showed up and did stuff was realistically how they won. I mean, I know that there was the the weight scale because there's so many hunters in the game.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just leave that, to whoever wants to pick that.
Without the weight scale,
Drafty.
we still would've
Drafty. You want to
lost.
say something, Drafty?
We
Yeah,
got
it was just
third.
yeah, well, I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you. So I only did a little bit of it was fun. It was weird. Narrative wise,
Oh.
we touched on this, but isn't there feel like a huge like flaming spaceship of doom heading straight for us? But
Yeah, and
When
then
it takes-
thousands of more out in the outer reaches.
I was just about to say, I actually in my latest highlight reel, I said this is bad storytelling. I mean, I walked in there, and when I last even bothered to go into the Seraph bunker, I saw 3 triangles coming in. I saw it now, and I'm like, wait a minute, they got past the Kuiper belt. We got the darkness coming in from beyond
No,
the Kuiper belt. Then we've got the because
maybe
it goes Uranus, Neptune, Uranus, Neptune, and then Kuiper belt.
Yeah, okay,
And-
sorry, my bad.
And so, look, you may know video games. I know my astronomy. I took it
No,
in
I get
college. Okay. So anyway,
Taking it next year.
sweet ass. You got any questions? I can tell you about the days when Pluto was a planet. Anyway, so so you got the darkness coming in from one side. You got the flaming spaceship coming in from the sun. But we're gonna put a stop to all that and play the Guardian games. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed speaking as the silver medalist. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a lot of fun. There was something rather satisfying though, especially when you're running the I'm trying to remember the name of the strike, but it's the strike that takes place during Forsaken, where you can pick up the Mindbender's ambition. I guess it's the Mindbender.
Hallowed Lair.
Hallowed Lair, thank you. But you're going into the Hallowed Lair, and you got those waves on waves on waves of scorn charging at you, and a couple of supers, and then it's just a sea of laurels. Something was very satisfying about that. But yeah, the Guardian games, I give it a solid B minus. And the reason I give it a B minus is mainly because it was just, I think it had it not been put in the middle of this super crisis where people are like, we've got the Almighty bearing down on us, but we're going to pause for the Guardian games. I'm like, really? That's how you're going to smooth it over? It just felt really, really awkward. Now, Brandon, being the bronze medalist, what are your thoughts?
I think it was a step up from the Revelry, but that's not saying much. I think it's a step in the right direction, but I think they just have to work on their timing with the spring events.
I would
Because
agree.
Last year during, was it Black Armory that was the spring one?
Mhm.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
year during that just didn't work.
So
Because the Revelry was just bad.
the thing was, I really felt like they were trying to come up with a spring version of the haunted Infinite Forest,
Yeah, and they just didn't do it right.
and you can't do it right because I think
because you can only have one before
Right.
it starts to get more and more repetitive each
Right.
time you do it. Because the Infinite Forest already is pretty boring.
but I think they tap into its potential during the Festival
Yeah,
of
the
the Lost.
Haunted Forest is so good.
It's so much fun.
But-
It's so much
Yeah,
fun.
and then it's just the way they executed the Revelry, and then Guardian Games was good. It just didn't introduce any new thing to do.
Yeah.
It was all the same. It was all go back and do these things, which we haven't changed in a year.
Now, I would say it was nice because I had a reason now, apart from grinding
Yeah,
for the
to
ship,
do the
to
forges.
do the forges, which I thought was kind of cool. I was also reminded how much I did not care for the forges, and since we're talking about the forges, I think that's an excellent segue into the continuation of the story. Okay, the Guardian games are done. Now let's get back to the story. And we get to the Seraph Towers.
Have you looked at the wall in the bunkers this week, by the way? Because
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I have a clip of it in my highlights reel where I just look at the wall and I go, "Hang on a minute. Hang on. This is not good storytelling, Bungie. You know better than this. You come on. I mean, and maybe I'm demanding a lot, but I'm just a little. It just felt a little sloppy that we're breaking for the Guardian games. Meanwhile, the story is still continuing in the Seraph bunkers and elsewhere. And I'm like, okay, well then, how close is the Almighty now? You know. I mean, because if the darkness is that close, how close is that Fakakta thing? It's we got to be able to see it at least from Earth somewhere, but then we get to the whole thing with the Seraph Towers, and Nick, you actually were you brought about the genesis of this particular topic. So bring us in. What is it about the Seraph Tower challenge that's inspired you to get into this mindset?
So there was so we're all in agreement that it's been the grindiest 6 months ever, right? Like we were already grinding for Saint, and then then Ava shows up, and then it's get all the ingredients for the cookies, and then we're back to
but that's a fun grind. That's a fun grind. I enjoy the cookie grind.
To those who care to do it.
Guilty.
Okay, so I agree, but that was going on at the same time that all the other, Philip Saint 14 stuff was going on, and then we got to this season, and now it's the bunkers, and then
which are even more in depth.
You got to level up your bunkers, and then now it's the public event, which is the first step in the lie quest, right? The Fellwinter's lie, hopefully Gun, not the Bastion, and so there's course correcting, and then there's course correcting. So they introduced this public event to widely negative response because it was complete 3 million Seraph Towers for each of the 3 Seraph Towers, right? So EDZ, Moon, and IO. Based on the feedback and how many people flat out just said, we're never going to get it, or I'm not doing this because I'm tired of these stupid Seraph Towers, or we're on a pace to finish it in 200 days, which is what it was at one point. Bungie came back and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to award you 5x credit for finishing them during the week, and then 10x during the weekend. And and that credit is per Guardian. So you can have 9 people, right? Right. So if you have 9 people and you complete the whole thing, then that counts as 90 completions. So instead of it being, we have 188 days to finish this, 2 out of the 3 are done this weekend.
Yeah.
Like in 2 days.
Yeah.
The Earth and the Moon are complete, and now it was at 37% when we went live. And that's, I think that's steering too hard in the opposite direction. I think that was like, okay, so, you want it to be a challenge and you want it to be a race before the end of the season. But if you think any location or activity is a ghost town in Destiny 2, wait till we finish IO. Because those bunkers, all of them will be completely available. It'll be the old abandoned Seraph Towers.
Right. And the funny thing is, the funny thing you said that you say about that is, there were a lot of people that were critical of the Seraph Towers when it came out. So then there were Guardians that were basically saying, I'm not doing this. And good evening, Darrow. How are you? And yeah, Drafty's even said he has completed 0 Seraph Tower events all season long. And the thing is, you either really love these Seraph Tower events or you really loathe them. And the funny thing is, as soon as Bungie mentioned, okay, we're gonna increase it to 5 times in the week, and then we're gonna give you 10 times worth over the weekend. We're talking within the same day that they announced that, there was another streamer, Clyde, GXR Clyde, basically said, shaking my head, this is why we can't have anything challenging in the game. So there were just as many Guardians that were upset that the challenge aspect of it had been taken away. But at the same time, for myself, the last time I was this frustrated, I'm even trying to put the last time I was this frustrated about an event was the where the original forges. I mean, I struggled in the forges. I struggled in them hard. And this is the worst of both the forges and escalation protocols. Something I've never forgiven Bungie for is they create this event called Escalation Protocol. And I know for a fact if I wanted to put out the rally call and say, hey, I can get 9 people together, we can go in, we can have a great time, have a good time in the Escalation Protocol. But Bungie was like, no, we're going to keep it where you can only take in 3 people in a fire team, but you have to hook up with two other teams of 3, and then you can have a full instance, and then you can start completing escalation protocols. And I was like, that's ridiculous. That is utterly I get it. Bungie wants to create this shiny, happy world where we do a lot of community events. We're all pulling together. But when you try to force that, I said it during the escalation protocols. When you try to force that, it really grinds the game to a halt, in my opinion. And the tediousness of the forges then matched up with this whole escalation protocol, where with the escalation protocol aspect of, okay, if you want a full instance, you've got to basically jury rig this and time this and go up, back, up, back, up, back. Oh, we've got a full instance now, guys. It took me well over 40 minutes until I finally, and I shouldn't say until myself, Munch, and Marv got together a full instance. And even then, we had 2 randos in there. Now, the 2 randos, well, let's just say they made things a little tricky. And I am now reliant on going in with randos and getting a flawless tower if I want to get the Almighty Seal. That is the only thing I have left. And I spent an hour and a half grinding the same towers on the moon. And let's not even get into the fact that it was the Fallen this week, which is a great this is the best time probably to do that flawless run. But man, you're going to say, okay, we're going to do it. This will be the best weekend to do this. Oh, by the way, the enemies at the tower are going to be the ones that can randomly teleport into a pad right as it's about to go off. Mazel tov. I was drained by the end of that hour and a half. And it was really, I have not fallen out of love with Destiny, Darrow, but it frustrates me that it seems like they don't remember the lessons of certain hit and misses. Like, why didn't they just open up the escalation protocols to just allowing you to get 9 people together, as opposed to trying to, make things work to where you could just match everybody up together? Why, if you remember the challenges and the tediousness of doing the Black Armory and the complaints about the Black Armory, I mean, but then you're going to put it in one massive event and said, this is what you have to do. I get it. We're all trying to make the content that we have here work because of COVID-19, but this was asking a lot from the Destiny community. Brandon, I see you sitting there. Your lips about to bleed because you're biting it so hard. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
They need to stop making triumphs reliant on blueberries.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think they understand how hard it is to rely completely on not only RNG, but also the ability of other people who are maybe not even trying to get the same thing as you.
Right.
And then the fact that they've come up with another thing in the game that is just blueberries being bad at throwing orbs. Because we had forges, and then there was corrupted.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hate that strike.
I hate that. If that pops up my playlist, I'm like, right, we're out. I mean, I love the Dreaming City. I hate that one. I hate that one with
strike.
That is, you know what? That is my Strange Terrain. Because man, did I had to grind that to get.
That's everyone's Strange Terrain.
So, all right. So I have a question. So, everybody knows it's a bad idea to make a conclusion when you have too small a sample set, right?
Mhm.
And so my question is this: the first community event, not escalation protocol, not something built into the game, where we had to do X number of waves of escalation protocol, X number of Zol kills, how many Thrall on Mars, that whole thing that everybody loved. We were all like, holy cow, this is great. Because you felt like you were contributing, right?
But there was also a variety of
was a-
things. If you didn't like to do escalation protocol, you could go ahead and do the strange terrain and still be contributing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was well received, and I think we all really
Oh, it was
loved
a
it, that our-
huge
we were
hit.
more-
Yeah.
And I so my question, I guess, is, do we feel like the bar that they set, the 3 million clears, was based on a decision made off a too small a sample set? This first community event went really, really well. We should do something else that is like right there. But the two things that they, the two places where they failed on execution, I think, number one is you made it one type of event, not all the different variety things that we just talked about, right? And then you made it something that we've already grinded for the whole season. We've already been grinding on these stupid towers. So that to me is where, that's why they've overcorrected in terms of making it super simple. But I think, so my question is, do you think the first one went over so well that they thought that was the where the bar needed to be set for this one?
So I tell you what, guys, I want to go on ahead and go to our break because we've been at this for we've already been at this for nearly half an hour, and so time flies when you got something on your mind. But when we get back, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna tackle that question. We're also gonna talk a little bit more about what's coming up for the rest of the season right after this break. Okay, and now we're clear. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We're just going to riff with chat for a bit, then we're going to come back in for the second half of the show. First off, I want to give quick shout-outs for everybody out there. Drafty, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Panic, good to see you. And Darrow, I hate to say this, but I've fallen out of love with Destiny. I don't even have it installed on my PC anymore. The nice thing about Destiny is if you're ready to come back, it'll still be there. It'll still be there.
The spring season too.
The spring season is always the tough part. And Dark Jedi just popped in the stream. Hey, how you doing, Dark Jedi? Good to see you. So
Take a bio break real quick.
Yeah, go ahead and take a bio break. I'm actually going to probably top off the mason jar.
Right now is your abusive boyfriend.
What's that?
Destiny 2 right now is your abusive boyfriend. He's always going to be there for you to come back to him.
Yeah, but during the spring,
he's not treating you very well.
Yeah, during the spring, he hits you because he loves you. But
I'll talk to Chad. You can.
I will in a second. But I did want to say, Jed, I just wanted to give you a quick heads up for myself. So, mail came and went on Saturday, no rejection notice. So I am playing Monday. If I make it through Monday and I still haven't gotten rejection notice, hopefully my claim on Monday will be thumbs up and shiny happy people. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to get it back on the phone again. But thanks everybody for hanging out. We are talking a little bit about the Seraph Towers. We're talking about our frustrations with it. We're talking about some upcoming events that we're actually looking forward to. But we're gonna keep things tight and try to make sure that we don't have too long of a show like we did with episode 60. Episode 60 was a whopper. I was well over an hour, but we're gonna keep this thing tight. I'm keeping an eye on the clock. So all right, give me a second. I will be right back. Nick will now entertain. Will entertain everybody. He'll probably regale you with the stories of how incredibly tasty those victory crayons were at the end of Guardian games. All right, be right back.
They were good. It wasn't just the primary colors. We had burnt sienna. We had carnation pink. We had aqua blue, which is that blue green. You have a Scottish Claymore, huh, Drafting? I do not. But while the guys are gone, I will say it is my birthday weekend. My birthday is tomorrow, which is why I have a bottle of Michter's over here, Michter's Rye that T won't touch. It's rye and tattoo needles are the two things. Those are his kryptonite. If you need to know. Thank you, Daryl. Appreciate it. And Brandon will confirm what I just said.
What did you say?
The two the T's kryptonite. The two things that are T's kryptonite are rye and tattoo needles. Thanks, Jedi.
Yes.
I'm trying. I keep trying to get him to get some ink, but he won't do it. That's what I'm doing. That's the two things I'm doing when we get over this COVID thing. I'm getting some more ink, and then I'm going to see the chiropractor. Nobody wants that, Drafty. Thank you very much. So, sounds like in chat everybody feels about the same way with the Seraph Towers. Let's see if... Okay, Drafty. That's fine, too. I wasn't a fan of needles at all either, and then I worked in medical for 9 years, and we had to get hepatitis shots every month, so you just kind of get used to them. Nice. Steering wheel, perfect, good. We're getting mulch on Tuesday. That's our big thing.
Oh, and PVE.
Yeah. Well, we're doing a birthday show tomorrow in Wolfpack.
Okay.
That sucks, Jedi. Anybody see the new NVIDIA cards? Those things look sick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're insane. Like I don't know, I didn't look at the price tag, but just the announcement in terms of the tech on them, it's pretty crazy. I got my bunker bounties, Randy. So if we want to later, I'm armed and equipped with bunker bounties.
Sweet. And he's back.
There he is.
But he's back. And he's back.
Dig into fashion, you know?
Yeah.
Dig into fashion. Here we go. See?
I actually have a new gnarly nerd shirt.
Yeah, we gotta get better. I have to get better at wearing gnarly nerd stuff on the stream. What have you got?
Yeah,
nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
I had the shoes on too, but I'm not wearing shoes right now. COVID Corona is a Spanish for crown for folks who think it's about a beer. This virus is about a beer. It's not. And COVID actually just is abbreviated for you don't have to wear shoes anymore.
There you are.
Sure.
There you are.
So, T, while we're kicking it in the lounge, I know you don't have a cigar because you're indoors, but
I wish.
Any advice for when my Daniel Boone model meat smoker arrives this week? You give me some
all right. Welcome to the smoking for dummies. Smoking meats for dummies. Man.
Yeah, definitely have pants on.
Okay, well, the first thing you want to find out is whether or not there's certain smokers that will want you to soak the chips, and that was a big one that the Charbroil, the Charbroil smoker I used, they were like, yeah, you want to smoke the chips. You don't want to put them in. You don't want to put them in dry, and yet the current one I have basically said don't bother smoking chips. And one of the other things I would say about your smoker is that if you have a smoker that's one and done, where you just pour in the chips and you put the box in and you're done, and you don't touch it, then okay, you have to gauge by the depth how many wood chips you want to use. One thing you want to stay away from though is someone once said, hey, I bought you some wood chips. But what had happened was they didn't get me wood chips. They did get me wood chips.
Mulch.
They got me mulch. They seriously got me mulch. There's a certain kind of smoker that apparently what they call wood chips is just a fine powder of wood. And I'm just like, I can't use this. No. I can't use this at all.
Yeah.
So make sure you get the chips.
Yeah, it's the Green Mountain.
Okay. Now, is that
the brand, and right. I already have two of their blends of pellets.
So do they use pellets or do they use wood chips?
They use pellets. They have like the 20-pound
Okay.
bag thing that you get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So here's the thing about pellets. I have not worked with pellets, so I don't know how concentrated they are. I've worked with the solid wood chunk chips, and the downside of the kind of smoker you have is that you can't, unless they make them in pellet form, and I don't know if they do. There's only been one place where I have seen these chips, and whenever I've had these chips, I'm like, these are the ones that Nick would be smoking with. They're Jack Daniel's bourbon barrel chips. They
Nice.
they basically take old Jack Daniel's barrels and they shred them, and then they pop them in, and you can pop them in the smoker. Now, I don't know if they also do this with pellets, but the thing about this, the smoker model that I've got that I really like, and it's Masterbuilt. Masterbuilt is my make.
Oh.
What I really like about Masterbuilt is they they have the tray where you put the chips, but then they have this little attachment that literally you turn, pull out, you put chips in, and you can put them in. So if you want a lot of wood flavor, then basically every hour on the hour you keep adding chips. If you want some flavor,
Yeah.
every 2 hours you add in chips. And
I believe that it's the same design.
okay. So that's something you're going to have to judge. Now, we're a smoky family. We like that nice rich wood. But there are different types of woods.
Finally fixed it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. There it is. So,
Yeah, so this is gonna be cool. So my buddy in Phoenix has the same thing, and he constantly sends our coworkers videos of all the stuff he's cooking, and he's like, I use this this blend when I'm doing pork and chicken. I use this when we're doing
Right.
brisket, and so he was like, here's a couple different flavors to try. So he sent me all of that, and he told, like, looking at what he has, I'm like, I'll just get that model so that way I know I can pick somebody's
Right.
brain. And then yeah, it should be.
mixing wood's a lot of fun. I mean, the base of most of the stuff that I've smoked has all been
Drafty. Super low brow. Come on. It was funny, but
Thank you, everybody. There's Drafty.
I'll have to
He
get-
just turned
There
12
you go.
this week. So there you go. Well done, Drafty.
I know nobody else is drinking but me, but I'm gonna
Can't wait until
raise
you
my glass to
can't wait until you hit
Fred
puberty.
Willard.
Anyway, so what I was going to say was that the base of all of my smoking projects have all been the Jack Daniel's wood, which I really like, and I will say this: it works best with brisket, works really well with chicken, pork and fish, not so much.
Yeah, I know.
With fish, I prefer using the sweeter woods. Sweeter woods like cherry wood, applewood's great to work with. Oh my God, I love applewood. And
That's what Ken said.
yep.
That's Ken for fish.
Yep.
He said the same thing.
Yep. And there is a peach wood and an orange wood, but I don't think they're as sweet as the cherry and apple. So I would use that for fish, particularly salmon. Okay, here's the thing with salmon. You got to be real careful when somebody says when you find the recipes. I found 3 different recipes of salmon that all said you want to leave it in the smoker for about an hour and a half. I was like, okay. And what they were saying was salmon. They weren't talking about salmon fillets. They were talking about salmon steaks, the massive thick cuts.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the thin
You can't thin cut in anything for an hour and a half.
yeah, exactly. And that was the thing, is that was never specified in these 3 random recipes that I found. So the first time I did it, God love him, when he was alive, my father basically powered through, which was more or less smoked salmon jerky. That's what we were having for dinner that night, smoked salmon jerky. And then one night they came over and I said, I'm trying salmon again. But this time, instead of leaving it in there for an hour and a half, I left it in for 30 minutes. Melt in your mouth. And the smoke, I used applewood, and the flavor just popped. So if you're going to do, I haven't tried smoking pork yet. In fact, what I'd like to do is I'd like to smoke a pork butt in there and then drop it into a slow cooker and do some pulled pork, some smoked pulled pork. That's my next
that
big
guy's
project.
pork.
What was that?
No, that guy's got pork.
Yeah, I got pork. I got
went back-
pork.
I went back last weekend and watched all of the Defenders.
No.
totally forgot about
Oh, that one. Oh, that joke. No, that one's the shrimp. That guy's got pork. Yeah.
Pork.
Man,
I'm not hugging you.
I tell you something. I think it's a crime that if they are really bringing Daredevil into the MCU, it's got to be Charlie Cox. It's got to be Charlie Cox. He just knocked it out of the park.
I think we're losing people by talking about smoking meat.
Oh, should we get back to Destiny? All right. So we're gonna get back to Destiny, everybody. All right. So let's do this. We're gonna bring this back just as you would normally hear the show. I do not have any of the drop-ins tonight. I'm still, like I said, I'm still doing a little bit of renovation in the studio, doing some changes, trying to figure out how to make to basically get the setup I have for the Mac over here on the PC side. It's going to require a mixer, which I need to see if any of the vendors that I've approached for the 4th edition of Podcasting Dummies are going to come through. But that's another conversation for another time. Let's go on ahead and let's get back into it. Smoking meat is more entertaining than Destiny lately. Well, maybe. All right.
We'll do a crossover. We'll do a crossover episode drafting.
There you go.
Smoking meat and Destiny.
There you go. Smoking meat and Destiny. There you go. Sounds good. All right.
We got this week. We got new organizers for all the headsets. So 6 of those. All this. Everything's cable management. Like when I sit in this office for 11 hours a day, and I'm like, I can make those cables. Just like Brandon knows, he was with me. We're like, if we get some double-sided tape and some Velcro, we could totally take that power strip, put it on the back of the TV, and then nobody has to see it. Like it's that obsessive at this point. So
I'm starting to feel that itch, to be honest with you, but that would require me actually tearing down the studio, and I don't want to do that. So when you come in here again, I'm just going to say it now. I apologize. All right. So here we go. Second half of episode 61 of Happy Hour from the Tower in 3, 2. And we are back with the second half of Happy Hour from the Tower. I'm T.
Take down your Christmas lights. Is that not
Brandon.
Are we going to do this again, jackass? Fucking
It
troll.
wasn't me last time.
Are you ready, Mr. Kelly?
Oosa.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I'm good.
Goose Faba. All right, here we go. And we are back with the second half of Happy Hour from the Tower. I'm T.
I'm Nick.
I'm Brandon.
There we go. And we're talking a little bit about the Seraph Tower Challenge and how it's not necessarily sitting well with a lot of Guardians. So Nick, you had a very fascinating question. Would you mind restating that for those new to the show and those new to this particular stream?
I will, but I need to say something first.
Oh boy.
And that is because we're talking about strikes.
Yeah.
If you want to see what a live action show version of the Pyramidion would be, you need to watch season 4 of The Expanse.
Yes, I would agree.
I'm spot on, right? The whole time they're in there, and I'm like, this is the Pyramidion. This is terrifying. And then so good.
Did you enjoy their jump to Amazon, by the way?
Oh, I think that the visuals improved exponentially.
Yeah,
right.
They did. Yeah.
And the sound, like the space where they're doing the burn on the ships, and I still love the way they do the ships with the multi-angle stuff, but like it shook the house with our sound system. It was so good. Of course, I get the little side eye from the doc, and she's like, I'm like, yeah, I'll turn it down. Yeah. So brilliant. Season 4, amazing, and we always talk about it's not a story until you put your characters through something. Oh. Man.
Yeah, no kidding. And no spoilers. Don't worry, Darrow. No spoilers. We're not going to give anything away. But yeah, if you haven't been watching The Expanse, That is probably some of the best sci-fi you will find on television. It's absolutely phenomenal, and there is a lot of there are times when after I watch The Expanse I go, man, I really want to play Destiny, because it just kind of feeds that little itch. It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
So Nick, the question you had going into the second half, what was that?
Okay, so to frame this, we are in the midst of a public event, whether we like it or not. Sorry, I had to slip it. And the initial response was not well received. This is the requirement to move your quest step forward for the lie is to complete 3 million Seraph Tower clears on EDZ and on the Moon and on Io, so 9 million total. When this was first announced, it was not well received. Bungie course corrected and said, we're going to give you 5x credit on weekdays and 10x credit on weekends, and we have seen 2 of the 3 are already done. We're essentially like 80% of the entire that quest step.
Yeah, current progress on IO is 35.4%. Just so you know. Yeah.
So my question was, did they set the bar where they set the bar as a result of the popularity and how well received the initial community event was, which was all of the clears on Mars that we had to do with, whether it was Zol, whether it was the Nokris, the overall number of Hive, the X number of escalation protocols, etc. So that went over great. So is it we did it here, so let's do the same thing? Do you think that the success of the first event influenced this one? And I think we talked about where they failed in execution, but I'll kind of ask you guys that question first and then see what everybody thinks.
Brandon, take the lead. What do you think?
I think they definitely got the rhythm from the original community event, and then they were like, oh, let's set the bar high for Empyrean, and then we managed to hit that too, because all the PvP players wanted their freaking trials back. And then I think they missed the essence with this one, because Felwinter's Lie is primarily a PvP shotgun, and in order to get it, they're making us do 9 million PvE activities. And I don't think that's the way that they should have done it. Because if a gun that was primarily seen as a PvP weapon and earned through Iron Banner, I believe, in D1, why should it be a community thing to get it now when Iron Banner is already lacking a bunch of stuff? So I think they missed the essence with it. I just don't think they landed on their feet with this one, and I think there could have been a much better reward for this. As far as we know, it could be something completely different. It could be us blowing up Titan for all I know.
Hey. I think that the two places that and you hit on one of them, which was, there's only one thing you can do. It's not like you feel like you're contributing because you love escalation protocol and you want to go do wave after wave of escalation protocol. Let somebody else handle that many.
Right.
And then the second piece being either we're going to get there as a community or we're not going to get there, and your contribution feels completely non-transparent. Like you don't know if you've actually how much you've contributed. Yeah. And then the other thing being now that they've made it this easy, there's no why would I do it? We're already it's already 2 of them are done. So there's 6 million, and then another 1 million are done on IO already. So cool, we're 7 out of 9 million done.
I can kick my feet back and let everybody else do the work. So here was a revelation I had after you told me about what had happened, and apparently the rumor has it that the way this all really hit the fan was because I remember it was within 24 hours of the Seraph Tower Community Challenge starting that there was pushback, and a lot of pushback came from Glad. Glad basically just said on a stream, "I'm not doing this. I didn't like the Seraph Towers before. I'm not doing this. I'm just not. Next day it was like, oh, we're gonna make this 5 times for the week and 10 times for the weekend, and I remember turning to Pip and saying, "Do you know what this means?" And Pip said, "Bungie isn't listening close enough to the community." I said, "No, Glad is Pootie Shoe." Because if you remember in the TV show Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet, there's this moment where the entire dev team of Raven's Banquet, or Mythic Quest, are just they're just waiting on edge to see how Pootie Shoe, this influential streamer, reacted to the game, the recent upgrade to the game, the recent DLC, Raven's Banquet. And I believe he gave it 5 Pooties, and everybody just lost their minds. And then when in a couple episodes later, and if you haven't seen this show, it is effing brilliant. It is called Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet, and it's made by the same people who did It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But and they collaborated with
God.
And wait, Brandon, they also collaborated with Ubisoft.
Oh, Jesus.
And the funny thing is, I've heard a couple streamers go, "It's not that funny." I think I know why that some of these influential streamers said that, because at one point they visit StreamerCon.
Uh-oh.
I was offended. Okay, I was both elated. I was rolling on the floor, but I was also pretty like, okay, that cuts a little close to home. At one point, Brandon. At one point, they said we found our new streamer rep, and it was this dude well into his 40s. And the developer said, "Look at him, he's in his 40s, and he's a streamer? My God, he's 1,000 years at internet." And I'm sitting there going, damn. I mean, damn. And I mean, this show really did its homework. And the fact that Ubisoft helped them make it is even better. But honestly, that's what this was that they said, "Oh, you don't like something in the game? Well, you got to talk to." And the developer's like, no. And they cut to Pootie Shoe. And I'm like, wow. So basically, Bungie's Pootie Shoe is now Glad. And that makes me wonder, so who is really developing these games? Is it the game developers themselves, or are we now at a point where we're going to start designing games by committee? Because Bungie will never learn from their mistakes if they keep going in this direction. I really do believe that we should have failed this community event. We should have failed it. And then Bungie was like, okay, where did we miss a step? Because all they did was they heard a couple of influential streamers say, "Screw this, I'm not going to do this." And they were like, okay, well then we'll just as Nick said, we're going to do a massive course correction, and now people are tearing through it. Bungie's going to interpret that as, well, okay, they must really love doing this. I'm like, no, we don't. I really don't like the Seraph Towers. We hate the Seraph Towers. We hate the Seraph Towers. It's just tedious as shit. And this, I don't think, is welcome to Everybody Gets a Trophy 2.0. And you see, that to me, that was sort of the snide remark that was made about the last 2 community events. But the thing is, I enjoyed the last 2 community events. I had a terrific time, and they didn't have to touch a thing. I think they underestimated the community for the first community event. The second community event was a little tougher and a little more...
Well, even then, because for Empyrean, there was still a choice on how to earn Fractaline.
And that's the thing. It was the
this
choice.
This is one of the least enjoyable activities, I think, in Destiny history at this point.
Yep.
And they're making us grind it.
Yeah.
After 6 months of grinding other things.
Yeah.
And the earlier part of the season already grinding Seraph Towers, where none of it's fun.
Yeah. And not only that, they ramp up the difficulty and make it even harder.
Exactly.
And
to punish us.
They rolled that down too. Yeah,
Exactly.
they rolled that down too. So they made the yellow bars easier, and then they also made it 9 waves instead of 10.
I'm sorry. I don't feel... No. I'm sorry. It didn't feel any easier, and I had a full instance. And the fact that... Now, I will say this. I completed more waves in the Seraph Towers than I ever have. I actually got the Seraph bonus and all that. Great. whoopee frickin' do. I still am one triumph away from the almighty title. And I get it. The titles are not supposed to be participation trophies. I get that. But you're, as Brandon said earlier, and Brandon, you nailed it. I am now reliant on blueberries to get a triumph, to get one of the titles. I'm like, that's not a reflection on me as a player. That's a reflection on the game in a whole. And I'm like, that's not fair. And I mean, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm still going to. The minute I found out that was the hidden triumph, I was just like, this is going to be tough. Yeah. And this is even why I don't like doing strikes and being randomly. I don't mind, hashtag not all randos. But I mean, the reason I do not like going into a strike with a full fire team of 3 is because I must have a superpower of attracting that one rando that is trying to speed run a strike. And I'm like, I don't want to speed run a strike. I just want to enjoy it.
We need to take the approach, and it's a very simple approach, right? It's the same thing we do in security with risk mitigation. You can't get to 100% secure and 0% risk at all, but you want to make the risk as small as possible. And I think we need that chart on the wall for Bungie, which is, okay, if you're testing this out in the sandbox, does it increase the chance of getting Leroy Jenkins, or does it decrease the chance of getting Leroy Jenkins? If it decreases it, then you're going in the right direction with whatever it is you're building. Right.
But again,
I think Drafty brings up a good point, is the fact that they need to let us fail in advance. Because I think that's the only way to do it. Like, what if this is us powering up more satellites and more warsats and stuff like that, right? What if we didn't do it?
Yeah.
If we didn't make it, does that mean we fail to take out the Almighty?
Well, I mean, or could it be something like could it be something like where, all right, a good example is BioShock. BioShock has multiple endings. Depending on what you decide throughout the game is going to decide, and you might decide to go in one direction, you might go in the opposite direction. And there are 3 different endings, at least. And to me, that's part of that. That's exciting. That's engaging. Now, granted, if you're constantly trying to create content, and this was something we touched on the last show, it's harder to design for games of that respect. And yeah, you're right, Brandon. What happens if we had failed this? There should be consequences, and not just consequences in game, but also it tells Bungie, oh, that didn't work as well as we thought we did. So they're never going. The only solution, the only thing that game developers have walked away from, and for me as a community member has walked away from, is this: one, if the upper echelon doesn't like what Bungie does, they're going to say something, and Bungie will say, "Okay, we got to fix this." And the second thing is that the game developers are like, "Okay, we're going to throw this out. If it doesn't take off straight away, then we're going to fix it." We'll this is basically the game developers' way of saying we'll fix it in post. And I'm like, no, let us fail as a community.
I have the solution.
Oh dear God! Does it involve Christmas lights? Does it involve Christmas lights?
No, it most certainly does not.
But if they're up right now,
yes. Yeah, you've been COVIDed. You've been home for a long time. You should have those lights down. Here's how we solve both. So we fail, and the Almighty hits the tower, but it gets shot at the last minute, and then chunks of it hit the tower. How's that? So the tower still stands, and the chunks that fall and hit the tower only take out the faction leaders who we're not going to use anyways. And we don't have to load those folks into those parts of the tower anymore.
But then that means I can't. But that means I can't double dip anymore and get my Shreya Gadushal in both the Expanse and in Destiny. It breaks my heart.
She had Kirk Destiny. I mean, her dialogue and her wardrobe in the Expanse are just killer.
Stunning, my friend, stunning. Anyway,
and the fact leaders haven't done it for 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm saying, you take out Dexter's dad, you take out Christian from the Expanse, and then who's the third one? Who am I missing?
You're missing your guys. Morrissey in the hangar.
He's don't worry about him.
Yeah,
He'll
but I mean,
black cloth somewhere.
yeah, I mean but that's the thing is that I don't feel like anything really got learned. You know, I don't think there were any lessons learned from this mistake. I don't think the community events are a bad thing. I want to make sure that where I'm clear on that. I loved
This one.
this was a swing and a miss. I ranked this right up with the Black Armory. I think it's a swing and a miss. I think
What is it about this year where there's always one thing that just doesn't go over, right? I mean, are we in the cycle of like Osiris?
Yeah, it's no. Once you hit spring, something goes wrong.
I think I really think it has something to do with the fact that I mean, even before then, you're right. You know, Curse of Osiris was the spring event, and it did not go over well. And then we have the Black Armory. Then we have this, and I mean, it could just be that whole recovery period after Christmas, and you know, you kind of want to coast, but then the people are still throwing out content, and maybe they think, oh, this is going to be a great follow up, and it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
I just feel like that I would like to see more community events where we have a variety of things to do, and a variety of ways. Oh, what was that?
I have another question.
All right, you have another question.
Is the public event a swing and a miss, or is this season a swing and a miss?
I think the Seraph Tower public event. Because when I say public event, I like public events. I mean, I've liked them ever since they've been introduced. I don't mind a good public event. Gets the brain going. Nice way to warm up to the game, and then you go in and you do what you need to do. I don't think the Seraph Towers pursuit is made for a good public community event. I think the Seraph Tower the Seraph Tower was a bad choice.
Okay, so the season though, miss, okay, or too early to tell?
You're talking about Season of the Worthy.
I'm talking about
Season of the
Is that
Worthy.
what you were?
Brandon, you want to take a first shot?
Yeah,
at that?
I think as of right now, it's a big miss because it's them just remastering basically Osiris and then Warmind, but they give another loose end that needs to be tied with the cinematic of Osiris talking to Rasputin. And there's no explanation for that. And then over the course of the season so far, the only storytelling we've gotten is the fact that there are hidden bunkers randomly on these planets that we've never seen in places that were very clearly not built like that in D1. And then
You mean like the fact that the moon didn't actually have that much real estate?
Yep. And then it's just a matter of the fact that now there are big towers off in the distance, and we don't know what Rasputin's doing. We still don't know if we can trust Rasputin because the only way we can communicate with him is through Anna, and even at this point, Anna isn't 100% the most reliable source in that, because the last time we interacted with Rasputin, he tried to become a monarch and take over the solar system on his own, and we had to calm him down. And now we're giving him the power to do that, which always circles back to the fact that I don't trust him anymore. Back to the main point. I think.
No, that is the
like
main
their
point.
idea.
You're talking about the storytelling, and
I like their main idea of each season is gonna set up something and then wrap it up later in the big content drop. But I think it's too slow of a thing to keep people engaged for the year that we have to wait for the next big expansion.
Right.
Because currently the only thing we have. Go ahead.
This is the superhero TV problem. And your mom and I had this conversation over the weekend, right? I went back and rewatched The Defenders. The Defenders is 8 episodes, and it tells a story, and it finishes telling the story.
Right.
She's rewatching Arrow, and Arrow's 22 episodes per season. And all of them, every season, every CW show, you're like, okay, it really feels like in the middle, there's
There's a
Really
lag.
long lag.
There's a lag. There's a lag.
Like, I think
Yeah.
I like Damien Dark, but I think I've seen enough of him at this point.
Right.
So it's that problem where things kind of get just
Yeah,
drag
yeah.
out.
No, I
drag
think
out.
There's nothing wrong. In fact, this is something that Pip has said about American programming versus British programming, is that American programming should take more of a lesson from British programming and say, instead of having to crank out a full season like 20 some odd episodes, just focus on the story you want to tell, and when you're done, you're done. It's one of the problems we had with season 2 of The Punisher. Season 2 of The Punisher was not as tightly written as the first one, because you start on this arc about the people that Frank Castle is trying to take down, and et cetera, and then suddenly this preacher character gets thrown into the mix, and then he disappears for a good 5 or 6 episodes, and then he suddenly pops up again, and then he lulls down again, and I'm sitting there going, wait, whoa. Isn't the preacher supposed to be this big bad? Who's the big bad? When you have multiple big bads or multiple plot lines and they're seemingly disconnected, that's a problem, and we're dealing with that in Season of the Worthy. We've got the Almighty bearing down on us. Then we got the darkness coming in from outside the solar system, and now we're trying to tell a story from two fronts, and they're not.
Well, and then you throw the Olympics in the middle.
And then in the middle of it, you throw the Olympics. See, and as far as I'm concerned,
why are we watching the World Cup in the middle, like the world is going to end?
Yeah. Hey, let's have an Olympics. I mean that has been my biggest thing. When the Season of the Worthies started, I was like, okay, this has got a really, really strong potential. But then you start you got these two fronts about to collide with each other, and then you slam on the brakes and go, it's our spring event. You know, I would have been more than happy if they had just said, we're going to suspend the spring event this year so we can focus on the story. But the spring event just came out of freaking nowhere, and suddenly we're doing the Guardian games. I'm like, okay.
So Guardian games aside, there's still the opportunity to have these two stories connect.
Yes.
Right? Because the darkness coming, you're building the defenses to basically save the tower against the Almighty, but by proxy, that's going to be the defenses against the darkness, right? So
I guarantee you, if you had gone out to the community and said, how would you feel if we didn't have a spring event this year? Do you think you could wait until maybe Halloween until you saw Ava again? I guarantee you, I would have been like, yeah, we're good. We're good. I just, squirrel. Exactly.
Speculation.
Go
point
for
here.
it. Go for it.
So just to think ahead, what if we aren't building Rasputin's defenses up to get rid of the Almighty, and the Almighty isn't destroyed by Rasputin, it's destroyed by the darkness at some point. And I don't know the entire line where my process is, but I if Bungie really wants to get us, no, if Bungie really wants to get us, it's not Rasputin that takes down the Almighty. It's something else entirely, and that's the introduction of our new Taken King, the Darkness, or whatever.
Or the card that's close to the vest that they can still play before the end, given the characters involved, is Siva.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or
exactly.
It's even Aldrin at this point. Just bring something back. Don't leave all the loose ends. Jesus Christ.
Well, don't leave all the loose ends, is because where's Mara been?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to talk to all of them that are out there, because what's the dark, huge Zol-like creature on Titan? What's that thing doing?
Exactly. No, but that's another big point that we have is before
that's our dog. I'm sorry.
Yeah, before year 2, Guardians have killed a Vex god, a Cabal god, and a Hive Worm god. Where do we go from there?
And the thing, right? We're still just talking about Destiny 2.
Destiny 2 right now, but at this point, Guardians have killed some of the biggest threats to the system. How do you keep going up? Is that food chain stops eventually?
Yeah, we have the Thanos problem.
We do.
Yeah,
but I think it's also once the darkness hits, there's nothing bigger than that.
there's been a lot of conspiracy theories going on about what's been happening. You know, people have been talking about SIVA. They've been talking about a lot of these things, and I know that I know that I would personally love to hear what you all think about what the next big thing that's coming down the pike. What do you think is where are we going with all this? And in all fairness, if the first step of the lie is trying to get past the Seraph bunker, the Seraph Towers, what are they going to throw at us next? So I want to wrap up, and then we're gonna we'll chill out a little bit longer on stream. But yeah, I would love to know what you think. So please, by all means, send us your thoughts, send us your conspiracy theories, and send us what you think about what's happening in Destiny 2 at 703-791-1701. You can leave us a voicemail, or you can use that to send us a text and WhatsApp, and we will gladly share your thoughts on this show. You can also drop us an email at podcast@happyhourfromthetower.com, or you can go ahead and go to the comment section of this episode at happyhourfromthetower.com. And just remember, folks, that we, as we being me and Steve, the Blind Gamer Sailor, on the 21st are going to be representing Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and that's on May 21st on 7 p.m. on the Logitech G site. So you can go to Logitech G on Twitch, and you can see Steve there, and you can go to twitch.tv/the T-Monster, where you're at right now, and you can see me, and then we'll have our multi set up. But yeah, we will be streaming powered by Logitech G on May 21st. We hope to see you there. And remember, folks, that Happy Hour from the Tower. Yes? Yeah, great.
Is
yes.
this podcast protected?
You want to do it then, a-hole? Because I was about to do it. But just like the freaking Guardian games, you stuck yourself right in there, so why don't you take us out?
Happy Hour, Tower, crayons, delicious.
Yeah,
and,
that's what I thought.
Like,
let the professionals do the job. That's why I'm writing the 4th edition of Podcasting for Dummies, you jackass. Happy Hour from the Tower is protected by a non-commercial, no-derivative share like United States through a license. You can find out more about it at creativecommons.org.
Dang.
And on behalf of Nick, on behalf of Brandon, eyes up, Guardian. Time to give up the ghost. The first round? Yeah, I need one. That's on us. And we're clear. What the fuck was that, Kelly?
that poor bell.
God damn! Are you jerking Drafty under the table? Is that what happened? Did you just get a little bit of Drafty all over you? Christ almighty on a popsicle stick. Jesus.
I'm sorry. If you want some of that so you could polish your silver metal, you can have some.
Man, oh man, oh
Okay,
man.
Get used to living in someone's shadow.
Yeah. I guess.
He's about to do a remake of Scanners the way his head's going.
Oh my god. I was doing fine. Hey Tate. What the fuck? I had it.
You forgot it the last
I never step on that goddamn Christmas joke. I let you have your moment, and here I am. I'm on a tear, and you're like, hey Tate. You're gonna forget it. I got this. Whew. Want to come on by the shared desk, Mr. Helper? Which is happening.
Sure.
Which is happening at 8:00 tonight, by the way. Oh my god. Whew.
I'm just gonna fill up your chat the whole fucking time if you're gonna do this.
Yeah, I bet you will. Woo! Ask Drafty, I can time you out. Oh man.
You were gonna forget it. I thought I'm trying to make sure.
I tell you what. I tell you what.
From a legal standpoint that we're covered.
If I miss it in the future, and chat, you are witness to this. If we miss it in the future, you can say, hey T, you missed the Creative Commons. We will then go back. I will do it again. And then we will...
You have to do a shot of rye.
What was that?
You have to do a shot of rye.
I am not going to do a shot of rye. Fuck that. No. God, Rye.
This
Ugh.
is Jessica Jones. This is like season 3 Jessica Jones right here. This is what this
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Oh my God. Ah.
See what happens with this guy? I mean, just
Yeah,
air
TG
trigger.
and Advil. I mean,
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol? Yeah, I know. I know.
Tyler.
Right now, my source of frustration is that this new mouse, they give it the optional weight, so it can be weighed down a bit. The problem is that the way to install said weight doesn't work, and I gotta be like, hey guys, your the thing you sent me, it's broken. I don't know how it works, but there we go. Little
Good.
lessons.
It must be the same company that makes my
Little
my
lessons in
treadmill that
life.
worked for 8 days.
What was that?
The same company that makes my treadmill that worked for 8 days and then broke.
So, Chad, thank you all very much for. Oh, great! Now I just blew out my voice. Thank you all very much for
man.
joining us on stream. Hope you hope you enjoyed the show. This is the after show. This doesn't show up in the podcast. This does not show up in the podcast. This is just us riffing on the mics and also just catching up, just to see how. So I've sent you a bottle of my Irish red rye ale. You won't try it.
I would.
He might. I just don't do. I can taste it. I have the same reaction to rye that I have to gin. I just cannot do. I cannot do gin.
yeah, me too.
Better not.
Brandon got to drive today. Got to take us over to see my folks.
Hey, your folks are doing all right. Folks are staying safe.
Yeah,
Good.
they're social distancing from each other, so they don't communicate. But other than that, they're doing great.
Perfect. Woo.
Brandon and I are gonna virtually not social distance. We're gonna play some Destiny later, I think.
Tonight.
I believe so.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Go hit those towers. Get those towers done on IO. Why not? Go for it.
Yeah.
If Warmind up.
Yeah.
We're gonna go back and replay the entire Warmind campaign.
There we go.
The other thing I meant to bring up, and that was that there was no. Oh shit! It's over 50% on IO already.
Yeah, I was just about to do it.
Jeez.
Yeah. 50.2
Uh,
for, there's some people on here. I'm looking at the Top Seraph Tower completions. And there's someone on here who has done over 1,000 completions. That
Alice Knight.
I mean, more power to you. More power to you. If that's your jam, that's your jam. I respect you for it, but ugh.
Not to be confused with the guy I saw in the tower earlier, Peter Griffin with 2 E's.
Would that make him Peter Griffin? Pretty
No,
Griffin?
it's Peter.
Oh, Peter Griffin. Got it. Mm.
I believe the Duncanville season finale is tonight, as a matter of fact. Speaking about Destiny, they're a friend of the podcast, Joey Matsky. Good kid.
And she's got Stargirl starting up now. She's got Stargirl starting
Yeah,
up with that.
yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her. Yeah, that little
She's in a lot of shit.
that little Lance Reddick moment was very cool. It was very, very cool. I gotta admit.
Oh, that's,
Yeah.
that's what I meant to ask you guys, because I just got sidetracked by the progress, which is the fact that there was no like claim which class you were trying to earn your rewards for. So people could come on with their hunter and their warlock and their titan and just do all of it for the Guardian games,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, for the
And then
triumphs.
by nature,
Yeah.
if they, but well, no, I mean for the actual scoring, because if you do that, if assume every player has all 3 of those and played all 3 of those, then the hunters had to lose, right? If I complete 10
Statistically, yeah,
things-
because there's the
Yeah, and that was
problem is
that was something that I had been playing it. I had been playing it wrong. Apparently, I thought when you submitted a character into the Guardian games, you were committing to that one character, and that was it.
no.
And I played it like that for the first week, and then I was like, oh, you can play multiple characters, and then I was like, oh, okay, well then I've been doing this wrong, and yeah. But I think my biggest gripe about Guardian games has just been it just felt like oddly stuck in this whole grand scheme of things. So yeah.
Oh, it was shoehorned in for sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's to replace the Revelry
Yep.
because they felt the need to have a
Brandon,
swing
you
event.
want to go to IO?
Sure.
Hold back your excitement.
And if you want to watch the show that T was talking about, I can get us the Apple TV thing.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Just watch it. Yeah, if you want to watch together, because I think your mom would love that show too.
It's great. It's great. It's fantastic. I loved it.
Really,
What was
it's like
that?
Simon Pegg kind of humor.
Yeah,
I've read nothing but good about it.
it's great. It's great. It is fantastic. All right, guys. Thank you all very much for joining us, chat. I will be back tonight, 8 p.m. with the wife. We will be doing a shared desk, and I hope you all will join us for that.
In honor of my birthday.
In honor of your birthday. We will make sure to say happy birthday to Nick. But thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Protected?
What was that?
Is this show protected by any chance? I just wondered.
We're already done, Kelly. We're already done.
Just want to
I know you want to poke the bear a little bit. You know what? Poke this. All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right, man.
Take it easy.